Great to be here again. Here to bless your ears. You are listening to another episode of What Do I Know? I'm your host, Orchestra. For your questions, comments, or feedbacks on any of my previous episodes or this episode, feel free to email me at whatdoiknow at orchestrashow.com or wdik at orchestrashow.com. That's OKESTRASHOW.com. Thank you. Now, on to today's episode. As a father of three teens, one being raised in the United States, I sometimes wish I have a manual on on raising them right from the start. You may read books on how to get ideas. You can talk to people. You can interact with many people in various way on how to raise a child or what is it's like to have a child and to raise a child. But until you are knee deep in it, you don't really get it, right? My journey began the moment I met my wife. I was originally envisioning a house full of babies, right? 2 years after our official wedding, which was about 36 weeks, yeah, it's actually 36 weeks after our ceremonial wedding. So those of us from Africa might get that just exactly what I what I mean there between the official wedding and the ceremonial wedding. On that very day, I was dressed for work, uh, and my wife and I headed to another one of those prenatal care checkups. So my plan was to go to the checkup. After the checkup, uh, she would drop me off at work, and that would be our day. Upon arriving at the prenatal checkup appointment, the nurse did their usual. But when the doctor came around and performed the ultrasound, did all the other checkups, she looked puzzled. She was puzzled somehow and somewhat concerned with what she was seeing as far as the vitals of the mother and the baby was concerned. Out of caution, out of abundance, or should I say, abundance of caution, because she said, maybe should go to a main hospital just for an additional checkup, just make sure everything is everything is fine with the baby and everything is fine with my wife. On the way, my wife and I decided to stop to have a late breakfast and I decided to call my job at the time to let them know that I may be an hour or so late, getting in, since we have to now go to the main hospital for the additional checkup. Upon arriving at the hospital, uh, they checked us in. They hooked my wife up to their system, and they started, doing additional checks. Uh, they checked the vital for both the baby and the mother. And after some, back and forth, they came back and told us that we needed to prepare to become to become parents today. Or basically, they told us your baby is coming out today. Um, so about 2 weeks early. Due to irregularities in the baby's vitals that they were saying, they decided that they needed to induce labor and deliver the baby right away. Then they asked us, how long ago did my wife had anything to eat or drink? And when we told them that we just did on our way in, they decided that, well, they will have to wait several hours before they could start the delivery process. And just so you know, by the way, we never checked or wanted to know the gender of the baby. So we both wanted to be surprised. We were both in the dark. So we know we're having a baby, but we don't know, you know, if it was going to be a boy or a girl. Later that night, after we were told that we have to wait somewhat before they could start the labor process. Later that night, in the labor room, when they placed my son in my arm, I knew right there and then, right there and then it was that very moment that it sunk in that I am now responsible for this person. For a thoughtful and a reasonable person, raising a child is tough. Anywhere in the world, raising a child is tough. Raising children in a two-parent household can be challenging, and those challenging somewhat multiply in a single-parent household compared to two-parent household. Based on my experience thus far, raising boys in America is by far one of the most challenging thing I've done, and I'm sure uh, many of you out there will also agree that our environment makes it a little bit difficult or somewhat tough to raise kids. And don't get me started talking about the the community that we live in and the rate at which um, people of our race, or should I say, women of our race, die at childbirth. That's a topic for another day. But uh, talking about raising children, for those of you en route to fatherhood, or those of you that have already arrived there, um, here are some of the things that I think my wife and I did right as parents thus far. Um, as you know, only time will tell if we are actually right on that. As parents, we try to do things uh, to the best of our knowledge. We are intentional about what we do. We have conversation about decisions that are being made. We get each other involved in the decision making process, and we kind of let each other know how we arrive or why we are making a decision the way we did, or one way or the other. Um, so here we go. As parents, I will advise you to be equally involved in caring and raising your children. Maybe not necessarily 50-50, but as parents, be impactful in the relationship, in the raising of your children together. If the baby needs a bath, diaper change, playtime, etc., and etc., or maybe just need feeding, don't let it be one parent's duty. Don't leave it up to just the mother alone. In most cases, that's what tends to happen, right? But I encourage both parents learn where necessary. Lord knows, quickly learn how to change diaper when my kids were born. I quickly learned how to set aside things that are not immediately important, right? So every one of us are all coachable if we really want to learn, regardless of age or background. I also advise you to take your kids on quick errands, right? Take your kiddos on quick errands, not only um, those, you know, that further away or short runs, when they are starting to become aware of their surrounding and can control some things around them, take them along. I think this allows them to have these different experiences and provide learning opportunities for the child. But it also creates opportunities for you and the child to have beautiful accidents. I call this beautiful accident because those are unexpected. For the unexpected to happen, for conversation that might not have occurred in other settings, they might tend to happen in this setting because it's just you and the child, or should I say children, if you have more than one, right? So take them along with you. Let them ride along with you on those errands. Also, allow your child to attend or go to daycare early. Even if you have the resources to keep them at home, still take them to daycare. Even if it's just for a couple of hours a day, let your child go to a daycare. Here's why: it's a change of environment for the child, right? And every time your child is changing an environment, it's a great learning opportunity at that tender age, at that little age that they're in. Um, your child gets to mix with other kids and other culture earlier on. No matter how small it is, this is a great opportunity for your child. Uh, you might not like this next one, but they get to have their immune system challenged and tested and strengthened. I'm going to say that again. Taking your child to daycare, they get to have their immune systems challenged, tested, and strengthened. I cannot tell you how many times my kids come home with runny noses, and one comes home and they infect the other ones. For me, I personally believe that as soon as they get over that illness, their system has become stronger and can better in the future fight such virus, bacteria, or whatever it is that may be affecting them at the time, whenever they encounter it again in the near future. So take your child to daycare if you can earlier on. Um, for myself and my wife, we had the opportunity to actually give them additional work at home as they are growing up. Mostly, my wife was doing this. Um, I do help out every now and then when it comes to giving them additional work. We bought learning materials. That time, I believe it was from Sam's Club that she usually get the books from. We get these books that the kids work do learning from. I also remember that we spent some money on your child can read products. This were videos that the kids can watch. Basically, start teaching them phonetics, alphabets, different thing. My kids started reading from very early age, and it was due to the opportunity and the exposure that we gave them in this manner. Next idea here: when it's time for school, pre-K, kindergarten, elementary, and so on and so forth, do your due diligence. Don't just go with convenience, right? Because you are uh, distributed to a particular school or distributed to a particular area, or the pre-K is very close to your home, don't just go with any one of them. Don't just look for this is the easy one for us to access. Do your due diligence, right? Check out the school, do some research. What is the rating like? What are other parents saying about this school? Don't allow the school that you dump your child in dump them down. right? You've invested so much still on, right? So don't let the school now bring them to a level that find themselves not challenged, not learning something new, or not being given opportunity to be advanced, right? Um, at this early stage, these kids' spongy brain just want to absorb. Give it good things to absorb. Give it opportunity, allow it the opportunity to absorb great things. Uh, check their work when they come back home. Don't just ask, "How was school today?" and that was the end of it. Ask for their highs and lows. This gives them the opportunity to talk about things that they probably wouldn't have, get to talk about with you or mention to you. Ask them, what was the high point of your day today? What was the one thing that you learned that you probably wouldn't have learned? Or what was the low point of your day? Right? So this opportunity to don't just say, "How was school today?" and fine, and that's it. They off to their room and that's it. Next, repeatedly remind them that whatever they are learning now, whatever they are achieving now, and whatever they are planning now for the future, they are not doing it for their parent. Remind them that they are doing it all. They are doing it all for themselves, for their very own future. This is very, very important because if they know they are doing it for themselves, they are more than likely to put extra effort towards it. Compared to if they think that, all right, I'm going to get a good grade just so that mommy can be happy, so that daddy can be happy. Yes, you'll be proud as parents, but ultimately, it's themselves, it's they themselves that will greatly be benefited from everything that you are working on for them at this time. If you are religious, encourage them to attend church services, attend Sunday school, attend Bible study, um, attend religious children activities in the church and any other church related programs. I understand some of us frown upon religion today. We are not happy with how some religion are being portrayed or what we are reading about some religion today. But religion can serve as a great moral compass. It can help guide the values and beliefs that our human race largely expect and demand in some cases. It religion help them to be to basically be on the right track or be able to discern easily what is expected to be right and what is expected to be maybe not so um, appropriate, right? Also, if you are religious, pray together as a family at least once or twice a day. When you pray together, it's an opportunity for you guys to bear your heart to your God, and your child gets to see um, that you are just another human being that, that just as they are as well, right? Next idea here: keep them busy as much as possible. When they have too much time in their hands, they tend to listen to the mischievous demon when it comes around, right? So that's when they are likely to get into trouble when they don't have much uh, to do or going on. They tend to get into the wrong things. So keep them busy. Don't forget, as you're going through all these that I'm talking about, don't forget to be playful with your child. Yes, be playful with your child. Life is too short to only be serious all the time, right? So take time to laugh and temporarily bring down the parental wall, right? Forget for a second that you are the parent. Be their friend during that time. Be their playmate during that time. Lord knows that in this part of the world, there are just so many businesses designed to cater to our need to play. So spend some time, get out there. My kids earlier on in their early ages, they love Chuck E. Cheese's. Not only for the food, but for all the games that they get to play. So we tend to go out there, and as they grow, we move from Chuck E. Cheese to other entertainment that they enjoy. Right. So be playful with your child. Spend some time with them out there. Um, when they do have activities in school, in church, or they are playing sports, attend it. Spend some time, go out there, go share them on, be there for them, attend those activities. I know for some of us, our jobs, career might not allow us to attend uh, all of them, but at least make attempt to attend some of them. Show them show your kids, some support, right? Um, Next, constantly, constantly remind them of your expectations. Remind your child what you expect them to do, where you expect them to be. Remind them what as parents, what you are looking forward to from them. When you remind them, they know what it is. There is no assumption. There is no confusion. Got it? Next, constantly remind them of how proud you are of them. When they do something, acknowledge it. When they make you proud, acknowledge it. Let them know that you see them. Let them know that you are proud of what they did or what they achieved, no matter how small it is. The smaller, uh, when you remind them of how proud you are of the smaller things, then they are encouraged to do more. Even if they might think they might be doing it for them, for you. That's why I said it earlier. They are not doing it for you. Remind them that they are doing it for themselves. Next, I'll say constantly remind them of how much you love them. I assume and I know that we all love our kids. So make it known. Tell them. Remind them of it. It's important. All right. Next, correct them in love. When they test your boundaries, when they poke at your patience over and over again, take a second and correct them in love. We can easily get mad, we can easily get angry, but when it's time to make correction, let's make sure that we correct them in love. And remember that it's human nature to sometimes step over the line. We want to test the waters, we want to push the envelope. It's nature. And the kids tend to easily figure out how to do that. We went through that many layer of that with my kids. Um, do everything possible not to spank them at that time. Do everything possible not to hit your child. Try using words as often as possible. Trust me, they will push you and try you, but try using your words. Yes, I had spanked my kids once or twice in the past, but I often find out immediately afterwards that I could have done without the spanking. So, um, would there be situation where you will spank your child, depending on how you are brought up, depending on what the child, you know, has done? But I will encourage you, restrain, restrain, restrain. Try not to spank. Try using your word. Next, always make time to follow up on every incident, right? Whatever, or should I say, whatever you disagree on, or whenever you had a disagreement, you maybe you actually spank your child, right? Whenever you had an incident, or you just simply had to raise your voice, or they had to raise their voice. Once everything is all cool and calm, don't forget to revisit it and discuss what went wrong and what can be done to avoid it in the future. Don't just let the situation uh, be and let it just stay there, because before you know it, it fester before and then before you know it, the child is repeating the same um, incident again, right? So follow up. Um, Next, share with them your life stories. Share your family history, your background. Remind them of how, or should I say, let them know how you got to where you are today. It's important. It's easy during this time to only share the favorable or the rosy stories, right? But don't forget to share the not so favorable and not so rosy ones as well. Those stories can help build their character as well. It can help let them know or learn from somebody else's experiences, right? From someone else's past. Um, Ultimately, remember that you yourself, you are just a human. You are just a human being who is fallible, and you don't know it all. Um, you too do make mistakes, right? Own your mistake when you make one. Maybe your spouse pointed out for you. You might not see it yourself. Own your mistake. Apologize to your child when necessary, and ultimately forgive yourself and move on. Don't dwell so much on it that it now becomes a crutch or it becomes something crippling in your relationship. Yes, own your mistake, apologize, and move on. At the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a father of three teenagers, teenage boys who are completely and uniquely different from each other. We are not raising them the same way that we were raised, but we are not neglecting what we learned growing up either. This is just me passing on what I know thus far. I am believing and hopeful that my wife and I are doing the right thing. So, thank you for listening. That's our show for today. Thank you for joining me again on What Do I Know? Please email your comment, question to what do I know at orchestrashow.com or WDIK at orchestrashow.com. That's OKESTRASHOW. See you next time. Stay blessed.